Once more, good morning. Let me seize this opportunity to warn some unpatriotic importers, citizens or foreigners, that certain items are being prohibited from coming into this country. Certain items are being prohibited from being exported out of this country. During my first press briefing, I mentioned that a total of 14 containers have been identified, intercepted and seized by Nigeria Customs Service Apapa Area Command. And some of these prohibitions is what you can see as we display here. It is no longer news that importation of rice by policy into Nigeria is not allowed. But some unpatriotic citizens, people that are always in a haste and desperate to make unnecessary money, they go to load this consignment from foreign and declare it falsely, thinking that they will escape the procedure of customs clearance so that they can take it into Nigerian market. Absolutely not through Apapa port. As you can see, we have up to 4 or 5 containers of rice that was intercepted and seized between January and March here at Apapa port. Also, the importation of used clothing or kirka is absolute prohibition. Government make policies to defend the interests of its citizens. No country in this world that does not control the influx of cargo into its country. Here in Nigeria, government is doing its best. Security operatives are doing their best to make sure that we are compliant during the course of our importation. But we still have unpatriotic citizens or foreigners that are hell-bent to import these things despite the laws are clearly spelled out. Therefore, I'm seizing this opportunity to warn any intending importer that if you happen to import any of these items that falls among the import or export prohibition list, obviously I'm assuring you that our hands are here waiting for you. We are going to monitor you right from origin. Importation is no longer like before. Customs monitor movement of cargo right from its origin. Therefore, we track the cargo down, and as you are coming into the country, especially if you attempt to come in through Apapa port, you will fall into the waiting hands of officers and men of Nigeria Customs Service. As you can see here, we have used clothing, we have rice, and we have vegetable oil in kegs. All these are items that are not allowed to be imported into Nigeria. The importation of pharmaceutical is allowed, and here in Lagos, it is only at Apapa port that you can declare and clear your pharmaceuticals. But because our people are so desperate, you go and order pharmaceuticals that are not approved by NAFDAC. How will this cure the intent sickness? How will our chemists or doctors finally testify that this is approved by NAFDAC or not? Certainly from our examination, we are able to dictate that these pharmaceuticals were brought in without NAFDAC approval. In other words, there was an attempt to smuggle them into the country, and only God knows the number of citizens or people it will kill. Because if it didn't work on the sick person, the eventual thing is that the person may die. Therefore, unpatriotic citizens, unpatriotic importers that are hell-bent on bringing any form of prohibition or illicit drug into Nigeria should know that officers and men of Nigeria Customs Service at Apapa port are waiting for them and will make sure we trace whoever these importers are, and they must face the wrath of the law. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Customs house are spread all over the country. So I'm advising the public, especially those who have the intention of going into importation. Before you go for importation, go to the nearest custom house to you, inquire about the procedure required to clear that cargo on importation, the classification, that is the rate of duty you are expected to pay when you arrive into the country, and whether that item you want to import is under import prohibition, absolute prohibition, or is a dutiable items. All this federal government is doing in order to protect its citizens. Therefore, whoever decide to go against the laws of Federal Republic of Nigeria will have himself to be blamed, because appropriate action will be taken on him at the appropriate time. Importation of shoes, slippers, or footwear of any kind is equally prohibited from being imported into Nigeria. We have shoe factories, we have shoe industries. So how do we now develop them if we don't patronize them? Even if there is hunger, or with the hunger of foreign materials, federal government say the importation of footwear of any kind into Nigeria is not allowed. There are so many other importations. We have container of Crude that was also intercepted, arrested, and seized as a result of an attempt of the container to be exported out of the country. We know the furniture we have today is a derivative of the wood we have. The timber they are cutting without any regard or procedure is defrustrating our land, giving room for more desert encouragement. Therefore, we are here, we are very conversant with the rules and regulation and the laws governing the importations of all items into Nigeria. And we will not relent on our effort to intercept and arrest any of these products if anybody attempts to bring them in. As I said, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, and whoever does this, you may be running to anywhere, but wherever you run to is just a matter of time. We are going to track and trace that person, and definitely is going to face the wrath of the law.